All right, there was indeed more coffee, which is good. Well, this is so YouTube and Twitch are both United States corporations. So United States copyright law governs United States corporations. So YouTube and Twitch have to abide by US copyright laws. European copyright law is different than US copyright law. So European companies have different rules and regulations, but YouTube and Twitch are American-based corporations. So American copyright law governs those things. And American copyright law is extremely complicated and extremely strict to protect the rights of the creators and or the owners of the songs and books and artworks and photographs and movies and things of that nature. So in the case of the song that just played, Raindrops Are Dancing on My Head, that is a very old song written, like, God, it's been a while. I don't even know how long ago that was written, decades ago, from a film that had, I think Fred Astaire was in that film and danced to that song, if I remember correctly. It's a very old song, very old film. The original writers of that song are no longer around, but those song rights, the rights to the song, are held by a company who protects the rights to those songs and earns money when that song is used in films or television commercials, or in this case, a video game. So the creator of this video game, Hideo Kojima, Kojima Productions, paid that company for the right to use that song in their video game. So that company made money by selling the rights to their song, which is then put into a video game. The tricky part of this is when the average consumer goes and plays this game at home, they are experiencing a creative vision set out by the creative director of this game, Hideo Kojima. Um, yeah, I don't remember who it was, Slacker. I would literally have to go Google the film and everything else for Raindrops Are Falling on My Head. Fred Astaire may have been the generation before that. Anyway, um, when the average consumer plays this game, they are playing it in the comfort of their home. So when they see that scene and that song plays for them, it's in their own home, private. That's what it's. That's the primary way that's being played. As a streamer, I am in a unique category where I am broadcasting my playthrough session to the world. And this is where a different set of rights apply. So, what Twitch and YouTube do is they say, I'm being told in chat that Sundance is Butch Cassidy. So I may have, again, I was speaking off the top of my head. If I am miscorrect, if I miscorrectly spoke as to who danced that song, I apologize. Like I said, I would have to Google it. I know Fred Astaire did a Dance in the Rain too. Anyway, um, I'm broadcasting to the world. So for the intents of the rights holders who own the rights to that song, since I am broadcasting that on YouTube and Twitch, the YouTube and Twitch platforms have to say, okay, Renfail is making money while he's broadcasting this video game. But that music has copyrighted content that is owned by another corporation. And Renfail does not own the rights to that song to distribute it to the rest of the world. Therefore, the algorithms for YouTube and Twitch are going to take the music when they recognize a copyrighted track, they take that revenue and they pass it on to the rights holders because that's how copyright works. Now, many games will provide streamers with what's known as a streamer mode, which will automatically disable copyrighted music when you play that game. So if I'm playing Dune Awakening, which we're playing right now, there's a streamer mode, which I have turned on. So it disables all of the copyrighted stuff. Most recently, we played The Altars. The Altars has a copyright streamer mode. Guardians of the Galaxy, if you play that game from Marvel, which we played a few years ago, that game had a copyright mode because they use a lot of like 70s classic rock and stuff. So if you are a streamer and you are playing a game that has a streamer mode, it will disable that copyrighted music so that you don't have to deal with any rights issues while you're streaming. Hideo Kojima, for his creative vision, has said, I don't want the music to be able to be disabled. I want the music for me is an integral part of my creative vision for the game. You'll note that in the game options, even, my camera just did a weird focus thing. If I go to the game options here, uh, here, you'll notice that we can go to the system and we can go to options and we can go to music. There is no way to turn off the music of this game. There's only one volume, master volume. There is no, so most games you'll see it'll have something like master volume, sound effects, combat music, music, narrative, or voices. It'll have like 7 or 8 options, and you can adjust all of those options in the game. In this case, Kojima has said, no, 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 no. You're going to play my game the way I want you to play my game. And so everything is on by default, and you don't get to turn it off. And they have a website that literally tells you if you don't want to receive a copyright ding while streaming this game, when you hear copyrighted music, you need to mute the audio on your stream so that you don't accidentally get hit with a copyright ding. Pain in the ass for me as a streamer, but in terms of the audience who purchases these games and plays, I am a very small percentage of people who actually play these games. Like the vast majority of people playing Death Stranding 2 are playing it in the comfort of their living room where the copyright issue does not come into play. Um, so it is a, it's an inconvenience for me, and it's a bit of a, as the audience watching my streams, you're gonna miss out because I still get to hear the audio, but I have to mute it for the stream so that I don't get dinged on my videos by YouTube and Twitch. Because if I get dinged, what happens is all my revenue, at least on YouTube, all my revenue goes towards the rights holder for that song, and then I don't get a paycheck. And on Twitch, what it will do is it will mute the audio. So if you try to watch the video playback on Twitch, that whole portion of the video will be completely muted, including my audio, because Twitch will just say, we don't want to deal with the rights. We're going to mute that whole section to protect the rights of the music holder. So rights are complicated things. That's why most video games don't use copyrighted music in their games because to purchase those rights it's expensive and it's very complicated when you have people who are streaming your game, and we're in 2025. Streaming is a big deal. This is also one of the reasons people have asked me, hey Renfail, why don't you cover the live game awards shows like June had like the Xbox game show and showcase and things of that nature. The reason I don't cover game shows live is because the vast majority of game trailers these days use licensed music because they're using some sort of music track to do a 2-minute trailer to promote their game. And that just turns into a nightmare for me because I lose all the revenue from those streams, and it's a pain in the butt. It's just a big pain in the butt because I can go back and clear the audio with the YouTube AI tools, which allow me to strip the songs out of the videos. But for the entire time that I'm waiting for that video to process and edit that music out, I'm losing all of the revenue that is coming in because it's going to the rights holder until such time as the audio is stripped out of the video. And the vast majority of revenue I make happens during the live stream and immediately after the live stream. So by the time I've processed the music out, I've already lost like 90% of the revenue that I would have earned for that in the first place. So I have just learned over the years that it's not worth it to me to cover live events. And I was genuinely shocked that Kojima did not have a streamer mode for this game. I didn't know that that was going to be a thing. And then I went to their website, and their little advice is just mute the audio when the songs play if you're going to be streaming this game. And I was like, that's literally what you're telling streamers? Okay. Well, I love the game, but that part sucks. But anyway, that's just a since people were asking about copyrights, um, copyright lights, copyright laws are there to protect those of us who own copyrights. I own a lot of copyrights. I'm an author with 25 million words in print. I've published video games. I've published a number of books. I have a lot of stuff out there in the world in terms of creative property that I've created and make money off of. So copyright is a big deal, and I 100% believe in the protection of copyrights. Um, in this instance, though, I do think games that use copyrighted music need to provide streamers with a copyright free mode or a streamer mode, which automatically disables that music from being played so that we don't accidentally get dinged for things. Um, but copyrights are important. If I write a book, the last thing I want is somebody being able to take my work and adapt that work and make a movie off of my work, or to sell a PDF of my work. That we don't want that to happen because it's my creation. Only I should be allowed to monetize and create money off of my creation. And if I do give permission for somebody to use my work in a creative format, I still need to be compensated for that, and that's what copyright protection is for. Um, so it's complex, but again, copyright law depends on where you live in the world. But because YouTube and Twitch are U.S. companies, they are bound by U.S. copyright law, which is way more strict than copyright law in other parts of the world. And I could go on for days about this because actually, this is my day job for many, many years dealing with copyright. So it's a fun topic. But yeah, I even says, does YouTube copyright strikes you to protect yourself as YouTube? Because if YouTube doesn't strike you, me as an owner, instead sue a streamer who've made a few seconds to go after YouTube who have a lot. Yeah, well, that it still all boils down to copyright. Um, it still all boils down to the copyright. Sparky says, I'm not a copyright holder, but in my opinion, streaming games with their music should go under fair use. I also believe that in cases where a company, a video game company, has chosen to use a piece of music and put it into a video game, if I'm streaming said video game, I do believe that that should be fair use. But copyright law does not agree with that. Copyright law says, if I'm not mistaken, don't quote me on this, I believe it's up to 15 seconds of a song can be played under fair use, but anything after 15 seconds is considered, oh, now you're actually using the music and now you're crossing into copyright territory. But I believe it's up to 15 seconds. Don't quote me on that. I would need to Google that and confirm. But I think it's like up to 15 seconds or so of something can be used and have it still be fair use. So I could put 10 seconds of a movie on screen. You'll notice a lot of companies will do this when they're doing like a review of a game, and they'll put in clips. They'll be making a point and they'll talk about, hey, and this is just like this movie, and they'll show a clip of like Return of the Jedi, and they'll have like a 5 second clip of Return of the Jedi or a 10 second clip of Return of the Jedi. They can do that under fair use because it's a you know multi-second clip, but it's not minutes of the movie. It's a clip of a very specific section to make a point. Yoda saying and beating R2D2 with a stick. That's a 10-second clip. That's fair use. But anything beyond that is going to be considered, oh, well, now you're profiting from a segment of the film. That's not allowed. So again, copyright is complex. It's also a situation where streaming is still evolving as a business. I mean, we are 10, 15 years into streaming now, but it is still very much evolving on an international basis every year. So, I'm sure we will continue to see copyright law evolve over time as well.